The mysterious legacy of the Baskervilles. Is there really a spectral hound haunting the desolate moors of the Baskerville estate, driven by an ancient curse that threatens to claim more lives? For centuries, the Baskervilles have been cursed by this eerie legend, a fearsome, ghostly beast that prowls the foggy landscapes of Devonshire. What is the truth behind this chilling tale? Is it a figment of folklore, or is something far more sinister at work? In this video, we'll dive deep into the enigma of the Baskervilles, piecing together the dark secrets that have haunted generations. Join us as we explore the eerie legends, the shocking truths, and the mystery that Sherlock Holmes himself could not ignore. The Hound of the Baskervilles, by Sherlock Holmes, stands as one of the most iconic mystery tales in literary history, an enthralling story brimming with suspense, dark secrets, and eerie, chilling encounters. Set against the desolate, fog-shrouded moors of Devonshire, this masterpiece delves into a web of fear, superstition, and a chilling legend of a monstrous hound. As the legendary detective Sherlock Holmes investigates, the boundaries between reality and myth begin to blur, leaving readers on the edge of their seats. With its haunting atmosphere, complex characters, and a puzzling mystery that has baffled generations, The Hound of the Baskervilles remains a timeless tale of danger and intrigue. Join us as we unravel the secrets of this haunting narrative and discover what truly lies beneath the veil of fear. At the heart of The Hound of the Baskervilles lies a setting so atmospheric and unsettling that it becomes almost a character in its own right. The story is set in the desolate and mysterious landscapes of Devonshire, a remote region in southwestern England, known for its vast moorland expanses that seem to stretch endlessly under a perpetual cloak of fog. The moors are more than just land. They are wild, untamed, and steeped in a sense of foreboding. They are characterized by their rolling hills, rocky outcrops, and treacherous bogs, creating an environment that feels isolated and unwelcoming. This isolation is heightened by the sparse population, abandoned ruins, and a lack of modern infrastructure, which contribute to the eerie and unsettling atmosphere that pervades the entire story. Baskerville Hall, the ancestral mansion at the center of the narrative, is a symbol of both grandeur and decay. Once a proud family home, it now stands in near ruins, its once majestic appearance marred by years of neglect. The hall is described in ominous terms, with dark, towering windows that seem to stare out at the moors like watchful eyes. The crumbling stone walls, the ivy that clings to them, and the creaking timbers create an atmosphere of decay and abandonment. The house is filled with the echoes of its long-forgotten past, a past that is steeped in mystery and tragedy. This crumbling edifice, surrounded by the desolate moors, becomes a metaphor for the Baskerville family itself, haunted by their own dark secrets and cursed by the spectral hound that is said to roam the surrounding lands. The moors themselves are depicted as an inhospitable and foreboding expanse. The dense fog that frequently covers the landscape adds to the sense of uncertainty and danger. Visibility is reduced to mere feet, and the lack of landmarks makes navigation difficult, especially at night. The moors are not only physically challenging to traverse, but also psychologically oppressive. The isolation, combined with the constant sound of howling winds and the sight of dark, swirling clouds, creates an environment of eerie silence and tension. This silent and endless expanse is both beautiful and terrifying, a place where nature seems to be indifferent to human presence. Local legends surrounding the hound further intensify the atmosphere of fear and superstition. According to these tales, a monstrous spectral hound, large as a lion and with glowing, menacing eyes, has been associated with the Baskerville family for generations. The legend speaks of this hound as a force of vengeance, a creature summoned from beyond the grave, to punish the Baskervilles for a crime committed centuries ago. The villagers, steeped in tradition and superstition, believe that this hound is the manifestation of a curse, an evil force that lurks in the shadows, waiting to claim the lives of the Baskervilles. The very mention of the hound strikes fear into the hearts of the locals, who warn anyone who dares venture near the moors. Sherlock Holmes, ever the rational detective, dismisses much of the local superstition, but he cannot ignore the clues pointing to a far more sinister force. The moors, with their treacherous terrain and their dark history, are central to the mystery. They become a silent witness to the unfolding drama, a space where the line between reality and myth begins to blur. The vast, uninhabited stretches of land make it easy for the hound, or something akin to it, to remain elusive and hidden. This vastness amplifies the sense of isolation and danger. Holmes and Dr. Watson, who travel to the moors to unravel the mystery, find themselves navigating this hostile and enigmatic landscape, where the past continues to exert its influence. The atmosphere of the Baskerville estate and the surrounding moors is one of the most striking aspects of the story. It is not merely a backdrop, but an active, almost sentient entity that feeds into the suspense and the mystery. The moors' isolation, combined with the decay of Baskerville Hall, creates an almost haunting stillness, broken only by the occasional cry of birds or the howling of the wind. It is a place where the line between myth and reality is blurred, and where the imagination thrives on the tales of curses and spectral hounds. In conclusion, the setting of the Hound of the Baskervilles is more than just an environment. It's an integral part of the story's fabric. The ominous moors, the crumbling Baskerville Hall, and the dark legends surrounding the spectral hound all contribute to an atmosphere of suspense, fear, and intrigue. They provide the perfect stage for Sherlock Holmes to unravel a mystery steeped in terror, superstition, and the eternal struggle between rationality and the unknown. Sherlock Holmes' arrival. Sherlock Holmes' arrival at Baskerville Hall is more than just the start of an investigation. It's the beginning of a journey into the unknown, where the boundaries between fact and fiction blur in the face of ancient mysteries and supernatural legends. The moment he sets foot on the moors, the atmosphere is charged with an eerie sense of dread that seems to linger in the very fabric of the surroundings. Accompanied by his trusted companion, Dr. John Watson, Holmes is immediately aware of the weight of the case that lies ahead. Baskerville Hall, shrouded in fog and whispers of dark tales, stands as a silent witness to the chilling legacy of the Baskerville family. Holmes' arrival signals more than just the start of an investigation. It marks the return of the great detective to a world that blends logic with superstition. As always, Holmes cuts through the murkiness with his razor-sharp mind and unrivaled deductive prowess. His composure is unshakable, but beneath that calm exterior lies a man who understands the depths of human nature, both the rational and the irrational. The moors themselves seem to speak to Holmes, whispering secrets from the past, enticing him to unravel the truth hidden beneath the legends. Watson, his loyal friend and chronicler, brings a different perspective to the scene. While Holmes is the embodiment of logic and reason, Watson is more attuned to the fears and superstitions of the local villagers. His role as both observer and chronicler provides readers with a window into the emotional undercurrents of the story. Watson's struggle to reconcile the evidence before him with the haunting tales of the Baskerville family reflects the internal conflict many face when confronted with a mystery that refuses to conform to the constraints of rational thought. Upon their arrival at Baskerville Hall, Holmes and Watson are greeted by the desolation of the moors, a landscape that seems both beautiful and foreboding. The vast expanse of the moors stretches out endlessly, an untamed wilderness that has long been the backdrop to the tragic fate of the Baskerville family. The locals speak in hushed tones of a spectral hound, a creature whose very existence is said to have cursed the Baskerville line. These tales, rich with folklore and fear, have become an inseparable part of the Hall's identity. Holmes, however, is not easily swayed by superstition. Though he respects the wisdom of local belief, he remains rooted in his unyielding pursuit of reason. His first task is to understand the history and context that has given rise to such legends. The story of Hugo Baskerville, a figure whose reckless actions supposedly led to the curse of the Hound, forms the cornerstone of the Baskerville legacy. Hugo's descent into obsession and his eventual fate have become cautionary tales for generations, and Holmes is determined to peel away the layers of myth to uncover the truth beneath. As Holmes begins his investigation, the clues start to emerge, albeit cautiously. The discovery of Sir Charles Baskerville's body near the gates of his estate, his face frozen in terror, is the first tangible evidence of something amiss. The footprints leading away from the body, described as massive and distorted, only serve to deepen the mystery. The villagers, steeped in tradition, see these as the footprints of the Hound, an unrelenting creature that has haunted their imaginations for centuries. Holmes, however, is not easily convinced by such simplistic explanations. His deductive mind refuses to accept supernatural occurrences without proof. Instead, he focuses on the more practical aspects of the case. What kind of creature could have left such massive footprints? Could there be a more rational explanation for Sir Charles's death? These questions form the backbone of Holmes' investigation. The diary of Sir Charles becomes a crucial piece of the puzzle. Entries filled with mentions of a mysterious figure lurking in the shadows, and his growing paranoia offer glimpses into the events leading up to his death. These entries, however, are fragmented and open to interpretation, leaving Holmes with the daunting task of deciphering their meaning. Through careful analysis, he begins to uncover the psychological torment that plagued Sir Charles, a torment that might have led him to his untimely demise. As Holmes and Watson dig deeper, they begin to uncover a web of deceit, betrayal, and hidden motives. The locals' superstitions may have shaped their beliefs, but Holmes knows that behind every myth lies the potential for a very human explanation. His challenge lies not just in solving the mystery of Sir Charles's death, but in confronting the very fears that have haunted the Baskerville family for generations. Holmes' arrival at Baskerville Hall, therefore, is not just about investigating a crime. It's about confronting the intersection of human psychology, folklore, and the mysteries of the natural world. His unwavering belief in the power of reason and deduction drives him to seek the truth, even when it is shrouded in the mists of fear and superstition. In conclusion, Sherlock Holmes' arrival at Baskerville Hall heralds the beginning of a thrilling adventure that blurs the lines between the rational and the supernatural. His relentless pursuit of the truth, fueled by his unparalleled deductive skills, ensures that no clue is overlooked. With Watson by his side, Holmes unravels the mystery that has long haunted the Baskerville family, bringing reason to the heart of the enigmatic tale of the Hound of the Baskervilles. The mysterious Hound. At Baskerville Hall, the tale of the Hound begins with a series of unsettling clues that leave the villagers in a state of perpetual fear. Strange sightings have been reported: glowing red eyes piercing through the dense fog, an ominous howling that seems to echo across the moors during the darkest hours of the night. The locals, steeped in generations of folklore, speak with trembling voices of the monstrous hound that haunts the very grounds of the Baskerville estate. To them, it is not merely a myth, but a living, breathing terror that continues to plague their lives. These stories of a gigantic, spectral creature with an insatiable thirst for vengeance are woven deep into the fabric of the Baskerville family's legacy. The villagers are convinced that this monstrous hound was the cause of Sir Charles Baskerville's untimely death. His lifeless body was discovered on the moor under circumstances that can only be described as eerie and foreboding. Sir Charles, a man plagued by fear in his final days, often spoke of shadows and the strange happenings surrounding his home. His accounts, though dismissively regarded as the ramblings of a frightened man, only seem to fuel the villagers' superstitions. They tell of sightings, the figure of a massive, spectral hound stalking the night, leaving behind only footprints of despair. The villagers, bound by fear, have lived in terror, haunted by the belief that the hound has returned to seek revenge. Sherlock Holmes, ever skeptical of supernatural explanations, approaches this case with his signature analytical mindset. Known for his ability to unravel even the most perplexing mysteries through logic and reason, Holmes is unrelenting in his pursuit of the truth. Upon his arrival at Baskerville Hall, Holmes immediately begins piecing together the fragments of the puzzle, carefully examining every clue left behind by Sir Charles and the testimonies of the local people. His keen observations and methodical approach lead him to question whether the hound is a product of the supernatural or a more earthly explanation. Holmes begins by conducting interviews with the villagers, each recounting their own terrifying encounters with the hound. They speak of the creature's fearsome growl, its glowing red eyes, and the haunting presence that lingers over the moors. Yet, even as these stories paint a picture of a supernatural being, Holmes remains determined to investigate with cold, hard facts. He scrutinizes every piece of evidence, footprints, torn clothing, and Sir Charles' final moments, to determine whether the hound is truly as mythical as the villagers believe. As Holmes digs deeper, he discovers a series of hidden documents and journal entries left behind by Sir Charles. The diary reveals a man deeply troubled by strange occurrences at Baskerville Hall. Within the pages of his journal, Sir Charles speaks of shadows, of hearing strange howls in the distance, and of a deep, gnawing fear that gripped him in the final days of his life. These entries offer a glimpse into the mind of a man who was haunted by something far beyond the ordinary, a presence he could not explain. However, Holmes remains grounded in his pursuit of logic. His investigation takes him beyond the superficial tales of the villagers, delving into the Baskerville family's dark past. Through careful analysis of the family's history, old letters and documents, Holmes uncovers a series of hidden rivalries, unspoken grudges, and long-buried secrets that had been simmering beneath the surface for generations. These revelations hint at a more sinister motive behind Sir Charles's death. Not a ghostly hound, but the very human actions of those with a vested interest in his demise. Holmes' relentless pursuit of the truth leads him to interview not only the villagers, but also the household servants, who, over time, reveal key details about Sir Charles's final moments. Through their testimony, Holmes begins to piece together a narrative that exposes the real culprit, one that doesn't require any supernatural explanation. The creature that terrorized the Baskervilles was not a beast from the shadows, but rather the product of human greed, revenge, and betrayal. In the end, Holmes' meticulous investigation unravels the layers of mystery surrounding the Hound of Baskerville. What seemed like a tale of ancient curses and spectral apparitions is revealed to be a story of human motives, obsessions driven by greed, jealousy, and vendettas. The Hound, once thought to be a force of terror, is merely a symbol of the dark forces that lurk in the hearts of men. Holmes, with his unwavering resolve and sharp intellect, leaves the Baskervilles free from the grip of superstition and fear, restoring peace and revealing the true, hauntingly human nature of the mystery. The climax, the truth unveiled. As the tension at Baskerville Hall reaches its peak, Holmes and Watson press forward, determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious hound. One of the most gripping questions hanging over the case is whether the Hound is truly a supernatural entity or something far more human in origin. Could it be a spectral beast, as the villagers believe? Or is there a more rational, earthly explanation for the terror that grips Baskerville Hall? The arrival of Sir Henry Baskerville, the rightful heir to Baskerville Hall, further heightens the sense of danger. Sir Henry, unaware of the dark forces that threaten him, is unaware of the Hound's deadly intentions. The villagers' superstitions have already painted a picture of the Hound as a monstrous, vengeful spirit, but Holmes remains skeptical. He knows that appearances can be deceiving, and that fear often clouds judgment. Holmes' investigation takes a crucial turn when he uncovers an important piece of evidence, a set of old, neglected documents detailing the Baskerville family's tumultuous history. Among these records, Holmes discovers the sinister legacy of Hugo Baskerville, the family patriarch from centuries ago, who was said to have brought the curse of the Hound upon the Baskerville lineage. However, Holmes quickly realizes that these tales of a spectral hound are more legend than fact. The Hound isn't some supernatural force. It is the creation of human actions, fueled by greed, obsession, and vengeance. As Holmes and Watson piece together the puzzle, they trace the origins of the mysterious Hound to a family secret that has been buried for generations. The clues reveal that the Hound isn't some ghostly guardian of the Baskerville estate, but rather a trained hunting dog, a creature manipulated and weaponized by a human hand. The key to the Hound's existence lies in the Baskerville family's long-standing feud and the dark motives that lurk beneath the surface. Holmes' methodical approach leads him to Sir Henry's late uncle, Sir Charles Baskerville, whose death was believed to be caused by the Hound. It becomes apparent that Sir Charles's demise wasn't the result of some monstrous supernatural creature, but rather the actions of someone close to him, someone with a personal vendetta. The journals of Sir Charles reveal his increasing paranoia and the mounting pressure he faced from an unknown threat. This threat, as Holmes discovers, was none other than Hugo Baskerville's vengeful descendant, who sought to reclaim Baskerville Hall and restore the family's lost legacy. The turning point of the investigation comes when Holmes and Watson piece together the final pieces of the puzzle. The Hound isn't a wild, uncontrollable beast, but a trained animal, guided by a human hand. The true villain behind the Hound is revealed: Selden, the convict who had escaped from prison. Selden, motivated by greed and the desire to claim Baskerville Hall, had adopted the guise of the Hound, using the legendary fear surrounding the creature to mask his presence and intentions. Holmes, using his keen powers of deduction, realizes that Selden had been secretly roaming the moors, maintaining the illusion of the Hound to frighten away anyone who might interfere with his plan to claim Baskerville Hall. The Hound had been fed and kept alive, deliberately nurtured to carry out Selden's deadly intentions. His aim was not just to frighten, but to ensure that Sir Henry would be too terrified to inherit the family estate, and would instead flee from his birthright. The final confrontation between Holmes, Watson, and Selden reveals the full extent of the deception. Armed with his deductive prowess, Holmes confronts Selden, who is eventually captured. In the end, the so-called mysterious Hound is nothing more than a cleverly orchestrated tool of fear, a human creation born of greed, jealousy, and a quest for power. With the truth unveiled, the Baskerville curse is lifted, and the terror that gripped the hall is put to rest. The Hound, once feared as a spectral guardian, is now revealed to be nothing more than a tragic reminder of the human capacity for darkness. Conclusion: a tale of mystery and justice. As the final strands of the mystery unravel, we are left with a tale that brilliantly combines elements of suspense, intrigue, and justice. The resolution of whether the Hound of Baskerville was a supernatural force or the result of human actions, stands as one of the most captivating aspects of Arthur Conan Doyle's masterpiece. From the very first eerie descriptions of the Hound, readers are drawn into a world where mystery reigns supreme, leaving countless questions unanswered. However, as Holmes meticulously unravels the clues, the truth emerges in a way that is both shocking and satisfying. One of the most mind-blowing revelations in this story is that the Hound, long believed to be a supernatural specter, turns out to be something far more tangible and horrifying. Holmes's investigation reveals that the creature haunting Baskerville Hall was not a phantom from another world, but a carefully orchestrated scheme by a human mastermind. The terror and fear that the Hound instilled were all products of human malice, driven by greed, revenge, and a thirst for power. This revelation dispels the air of mysticism that once clouded Baskerville Hall and restores a sense of logical understanding. As Holmes pieces together the puzzle, we come to realize that the true terror lies not in the spectral Hound itself, but in the twisted intentions of those who sought to manipulate its legend. The fear that gripped the Baskervilles wasn't born from any other worldly creature, but from the very human desire to wield power and control. The climax of the story, where Holmes unveils the true identity of the villain, is a master stroke of deduction and reason. It's here that justice prevails, not through supernatural means, but through the relentless pursuit of truth. Holmes's brilliance lies in his ability to distinguish between fact and fiction, reason and superstition. In The Hound of the Baskervilles, he becomes more than a detective. He becomes a beacon of rationality in a world steeped in fear and uncertainty. His logical approach and unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth ensure that justice is served, not through fear, but through understanding. The story's conclusion leaves us pondering the fine line between what is real and what is imagined. While the Hound was a powerful symbol of the Baskerville curse, it is the human actions behind it that truly define the course of events. In the end, the Hound of the Baskervilles reminds us that mysteries often have more human roots than we may initially believe. Justice, in this case, is not about confronting supernatural forces, but about revealing the human truths that lie beneath them. In the world of Sherlock Holmes, mysteries are not just solved, they are understood, and in that understanding lies a deeper, lasting form of justice. Lessons from the Baskerville Mystery. One of the most enduring lessons of the Hound of the Baskervilles is the danger of unchecked human fears and the tendency to believe in the supernatural when faced with uncertainty. The villagers of Baskerville were gripped by the legend of the Hound, attributing their fear to a monstrous, otherworldly creature that haunted their ancestors. However, as Sherlock Holmes masterfully deduces, the true culprit behind the terror was not some spectral entity but a series of calculated human actions driven by greed, vengeance, and fear. The story teaches us that much of what we fear may not be as supernatural or mysterious as we believe. Sometimes the answers lie within the realm of human behavior. Moreover, the Hound of the Baskervilles reminds us of the dangers of making assumptions and the importance of skepticism when confronted with overwhelming fear. The villagers, unwilling to question the supernatural explanation, became victims of their own imaginations. Holmes, however, represents reason and logic. His approach, rooted in observation and deduction, exposes the truth and restores clarity to a situation clouded by superstition. The story serves as a reminder that justice and understanding often come from questioning what appears certain and embracing the power of rational thought.